The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. Only what you do. These profound words echo across nearly 2 millennia, penned not by a secluded scholar, but by Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher king. Imagine the weight on his shoulders, commanding legions, navigating treacherous politics, battling pandemics, and bearing the immense responsibility of an empire stretching across the known world. Yet amidst this external storm, he sought relentlessly an inner calm, a fortress of the mind. His guide, philosophy, specifically the practical, resilient wisdom of Stoicism. His private journal, never intended for publication, known to us now as Meditations, reveals a man wrestling honestly with the very anxieties, frustrations, fears, and griefs that define the human condition. Doubts about his own adequacy, irritation with incompetent subordinates, sorrow over loss, the dread of his own mortality. It's all there. He wasn't immune to suffering. He simply found a better way to relate to it. Fast forward to our time. Does the landscape of anxiety feel familiar? The relentless hum of notifications, the curated perfection of social media, the economic uncertainties, the sheer speed and pressure of modern existence. Anxiety often feels less like an occasional visitor and more like a permanent resident in our minds. We grasp for solutions, quick fixes, endless distractions, perhaps medications, often finding only temporary relief, if any. But what if the most potent antidote isn't found in the newest trend, but in rediscovering ancient wisdom? What if the key to navigating our turbulent present lies in the timeless toolkit forged by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius? Today, we embark on a deeper exploration. We will unpack 4 powerful Stoic techniques, drawn directly from the insights Marcus recorded for himself. These are not mere intellectual curiosities, they are actionable mental tools, practices you can integrate into your daily life, starting now, to loosen the grip of anxiety, cultivate resilience, and build your own inner citadel of tranquility. Please remember, while these Stoic tools can be incredibly helpful for managing everyday anxiety and building resilience, they are not a substitute for professional medical or psychological advice. If you are experiencing severe anxiety, depression, or distress that significantly impacts your daily life, please seek help from a qualified healthcare professional or mental health provider. They can offer diagnosis, treatment, and support tailored to your specific needs. We begin with the absolute bedrock of Stoic practice, clearly distinguishing between what lies within our sphere of control and what lies outside it. This principle, the dichotomy of control, sounds almost trivially simple upon first hearing. Yet, truly internalizing and living by this distinction is perhaps the single most transformative step one can take towards inner peace. Marcus Aurelius stated it with stark clarity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He constantly reminded himself, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Consider how much of our daily anxiety, frustration, and disappointment stems directly from our failure to make this separation. We agonize over the opinions others hold of us, forgetting that their judgments are their business, not ours. We rage against the traffic jam, ignoring that the flow of cars is utterly beyond our influence. We lament past mistakes, trying to mentally rewrite history, a task impossible by definition. We worry incessantly about future uncertainties. Will I get the promotion? Will my health hold? Will the world economy collapse? Pouring our precious mental energy into wrestling with phantoms. The Stoics saw this as a fundamental error in judgment, a kind of mental leakage where our energy drains away into the uncontrollable. They proposed a constant, vigilant mental sorting process. In any situation that provokes anxiety, ask the crucial question, is this truly mine to control? Let's break it down further. Within your control, your beliefs and judgments about events, your considered opinions, your intentions and motivations, your deliberate actions and choices, your assent to impressions, your desire for things aligned with virtue, your aversion to things contrary to virtue, essentially, your inner world, your character, your responses. Outside your control, everything else, external events, the weather, the economy, accidents, the bodies we inhabit, prone to illness, aging, our reputation, influenced by others, the actions, opinions, and choices of other people, even loved ones, the past, the distant future. Let's apply this to common sources of modern anxiety. Social anxiety. You're going to a party, outside your control, whether people like you, whether they find you interesting, whether someone says something awkward. Within your control, your decision to go, how you choose to interact, being polite and authentic, managing your own thoughts about the situation, focusing on connecting rather than impressing. By focusing only on what you control, your behavior and mindset, the pressure diminishes significantly. Work stress. A major project has a tight deadline, outside your control. The deadline itself, your boss's mood, potential unforeseen technical glitches, colleagues' performance, if it's a team project. Within your control, breaking the project into manageable steps, dedicating focused time, communicating proactively about challenges, maintaining a calm and problem-solving attitude, doing your best work within the constraints, learning from the experience regardless of the outcome. Financial worries. The stock market fluctuates wildly. Outside your control, market movements, global economic factors, inflation rates. Within your control, your saving habits, your spending decisions, seeking sound financial advice, educating yourself, diversifying investments according to your risk tolerance, focusing on long-term strategy rather than short-term panic. This practice isn't about becoming passive or uncaring about the world. It's the opposite. It's about conserving your energy for where it actually makes a difference. It's about strategic engagement rather than futile struggle. It's a profound act of self-respect, refusing to be mentally enslaved by things external to your own reasoned choice. Practice this diligently. Make it a reflex. When anxiety strikes, pause, breathe, ask, control or no control. Label it. Then, consciously redirect your focus to your own domain, your thoughts, your actions, your will. This is the foundation upon which inner peace is built. It is the reclaiming of your mental sovereignty. Our second tool is perhaps the most demanding, yet potentially the most liberating. Amor Fati, translated from Latin as the love of fate. This isn't merely passive acceptance or resigned tolerance of life's events. It is an active, affirmative embrace of everything that happens, the pleasant and the painful, the welcome and the unwelcome, as an integral, necessary part of the tapestry of existence. Marcus Aurelius captured this spirit beautifully. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. He also compared the ideal mindset to a blazing fire. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Whatever happens, good or bad, becomes fuel for its burning brilliance. This concept often meets resistance. Love my hardships, embrace suffering. It sounds absurd, even masochistic, but that's a misunderstanding. Amor Fati doesn't ask you to enjoy pain or pretend that tragedy is good. It asks you to recognize the reality of the event and cease the futile, energy-draining internal war against what is. So much of our suffering isn't caused by the event itself, but by our resistance to it. The constant mental loop of, this shouldn't be happening. Why me? Logically, if only things were different. This internal friction generates immense anxiety and bitterness. Amor Fati cuts through this friction by accepting the unchangeable reality of the situation as the starting point. Think of Epictetus, another towering Stoic figure. Born a slave, lamed by his master, he endured immense hardship. Yet he taught that true freedom lies in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on our inner response. He might say that wishing your past hardship hadn't occurred is as futile as wishing the sun wouldn't rise. It simply is. The question is not whether it happened, but what you will do now, given that it happened. How do we practice this challenging ideal? First, acknowledge reality without judgment. When faced with difficulty, first simply state the facts objectively, as we'll explore more in Part 4. I lost my job. My relationship ended. I received a difficult diagnosis. Avoid immediate layers of, this is terrible, my life is over. Second, look for the opportunity, even if hidden. Ask the transformative questions. Given that this is now the situation, what can I learn here? How can this challenge forge me into a stronger, wiser, more resilient person? What positive action can I take from this point forward? Is there a hidden advantage or path revealed by this event? This isn't toxic positivity, it's strategic adaptation. Third, see the bigger picture. Remind yourself, as Marcus often did, that this event is part of a larger, interconnected whole. While you may not understand its purpose now, can you trust that it serves some role in the unfolding story of your life and the universe? Can you choose to see it not as a random, meaningless blow, but as part of the fate you are bound to? Fourth, practice gratitude for the present. Paradoxically, accepting the difficult parts of reality can deepen our gratitude for the good. Acknowledging fragility can make us cherish strength. Recognizing loss can amplify our love for what remains. Amor Fati is a discipline. It's training the mind to stop fighting unwinnable battles against reality. It's choosing to work with the material life gives you rather than cursing it. When you embrace what is, you free up enormous mental energy previously consumed by resistance. This energy can then be channeled into constructive action, into virtue, into living well despite the hardships, or perhaps even because of them. You become the fire that turns everything into fuel. We're exploring deep waters here, applying ancient wisdom to our modern struggles with anxiety. If you're finding this exploration of Stoic tools valuable, if it's sparking new perspectives for navigating your own life, consider subscribing to Paths of Eternity YouTube channel. We delve into practical philosophy and psychology to help you build a more resilient and meaningful life. And if you know someone who might be wrestling with anxiety, perhaps share this video with them. Sometimes a timeless idea is exactly what we need to hear. Now we turn to a technique that might at first glance seem like pouring fuel on the fire of anxiety. Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation or contemplation of future evils or misfortunes. Why would actively thinking about negative possibilities reduce anxiety? The Stoics understood a crucial psychological truth. Unexpected adversity hits much harder than anticipated adversity. It's the shock, the feeling of being blindsided, that often sends us spiraling into panic and despair. Premeditatio Malorum is like an emotional vaccination, exposing the mind to small, controlled doses of potential difficulty to build resilience against future outbreaks. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher and statesman, was a strong advocate for this practice. He wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand, and advised setting aside time regularly to contemplate potential hardships. poverty, illness, exile, betrayal, the loss of loved ones. Not to wallow in misery, but to mentally prepare. Marcus Aurelius practiced this implicitly throughout meditations, constantly reminding himself of the impermanence of life, health, fame, and fortune. He'd start his day, according to his writings, by telling himself he would encounter interfering, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and unsocial people, not to become cynical, but to be unsurprised and unperturbed when he inevitably did. It's crucial to distinguish premeditatio malorum from unproductive, anxiety-fueled worrying or catastrophizing. Worrying, catastrophizing, often vague, emotionally charged, repetitive, focuses on the worst possible outcome without constructive planning. What if everything goes wrong? My life will be ruined. It paralyzes rather than prepares. Premeditatio malorum. Specific, rational calm focuses on plausible, though negative scenarios and how one would cope. It empowers rather than paralyzes. Here's a practical way to engage in this exercise, perhaps as a journaling practice. First, identify a potential challenge. Choose an area of life or a specific goal. What is a realistic setback you might face? E.g., failing an exam, getting negative feedback on a project, experiencing a financial shortfall, having a difficult conversation. Be specific. Second, visualize the scenario calmly. Imagine the event occurring. Don't dwell on the emotional horror. Focus on the practical reality. What would actually happen? Third, plan your coping strategy. This is key. How would you respond? What internal resources, courage, reason, patience, drawing on Stoic virtues, would you employ? What practical steps would you take? E.g., if I fail the exam, I will analyze my mistakes, create a new study plan, and retake it. Or, if I receive negative feedback, I will listen carefully, ask clarifying questions, thank the person for their input, and see what I can learn. Whom might you ask for support? Fourth, reflect on your resilience. Remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome. Recognize your inherent capacity to endure and adapt. Fifth, cultivate gratitude. After contemplating potential loss, turn your attention forcefully to what you currently possess. The health you have today, the relationships, the opportunities, the simple fact of being alive. Negative visualization paradoxically brightens the appreciation for the present good. Seneca suggested we should rehearse evils so that we might better cherish what we have before it's gone. By regularly practicing this mental rehearsal, you achieve several things. You reduce the shock value of future setbacks. You build confidence in your ability to cope. You clarify your values, what truly matters if things go wrong, and you significantly enhance your gratitude for the present moment. You are not inviting disaster. You are simply preparing your mind to remain steadfast, whatever may come. Our final tool set involves a radical shift in perspective, designed to lift us out of the claustrophobic confines of our immediate anxieties, taking the view from above and practicing objective representation. Anxiety often thrives in the echo chamber of our own subjective thoughts, magnifying minor issues into existential threats. These techniques act like opening a window, letting in the fresh air of objectivity and scale. Marcus Aurelius frequently employed the view from above in his meditations as a way to contextualize his own troubles and ego. Think of substance in its entirety, of which you have the smallest of shares, and of time in its entirety, of which a brief and momentary span has been assigned to you, and of fate, or the causal chain, in which your share is how small. He urged himself to survey the world from Madar, contemplating the vastness of the cosmos and the transience of human affairs. Let's try this visualization exercise. Imagine yourself floating upwards, See your current location, the room you are in. Rise higher. See your building, your street, your neighborhood. Higher still, your city fades into a patch on the landscape. Keep rising. See your country, the continent, the curve of the earth, a beautiful blue marble suspended in darkness. Go further. See the solar system, the sun a small star among countless others. Further still, our galaxy, the Milky Way, a swirling collection of billions of stars, itself just one among billions of galaxies in the observable universe. Hold this cosmic perspective for a moment. Now, from this vast vantage point, gently bring to mind the issue causing you anxiety. That upcoming presentation, that argument you had, that worry about finances. Does it retain the same crushing weight when viewed against the backdrop of cosmic immensity and geological time? Often the problem doesn't disappear, but its perceived scale, its emotional charge, significantly diminishes. It helps put things in perspective, reminding us of the transient nature of most human concerns. Complementary to this cosmic zoom-out is the practice of objective representation, which the Stoics called fantasia cataleptique. Grasping impressions accurately without adding subjective judgments. Anxiety is often fueled not by events themselves, but by the stories and interpretations we layer on top of them. Marcus constantly coached himself on this. Don't tell yourself anything more than what the initial impressions report. It's reported that someone is speaking badly of you. This is the report. The report hasn't added that you've been harmed. Stick with the first impressions and don't add anything on your own. How do we practice this? By consciously stripping away the emotional language, the assumptions, the future telling and describing the situation in plain, factual terms. Anxious thought. My boss hates me. That email sounded so curt. I'm definitely going to get fired. Subjective interpretation, assumption, catastrophizing. Objective representation. I received an email from my boss. The tone was brief. I have a project deadline approaching. I will focus on completing the project to the best of my ability. Factual observation focuses on controllable action. Anxious thought. I completely bombed that social interaction. Everyone thinks I'm awkward and boring. I'll never fit in. Negative self-judgment, mind reading, overgeneralization. Objective representation. I attended a social gathering. I spoke with several people. Some conversations flowed easily, others less so. I felt some moments of discomfort. I am learning to navigate social situations. Describes behavior and internal state factually, avoids permanent labels. By deliberately describing events and situations in this neutral, factual way, you create distance between yourself and the raw emotional reaction. You interrupt the automatic negative thought patterns that fuel anxiety. You see the event, not the horror story your anxious mind constructs around it. Combining the view from above with objective representation is a powerful antidote to feeling overwhelmed. It shrinks the problem's perceived size and strips away the layers of anxious interpretation, allowing you to respond with greater clarity, reason, and calm. The dichotomy of control, Amor, Fati, Premeditatio, Malorum, the view from above and objective representation. These four pillars, drawn from the hard-won wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoic tradition, form a powerful toolkit for managing the anxieties of modern life. They are not passive concepts to be merely understood. They are active disciplines to be practiced. Like honing any skill, learning an instrument, strengthening your body, building mental resilience requires consistent, conscious effort. It requires patience and self-compassion. You won't master them overnight. There will be days when anxiety feels overwhelming despite your best efforts. That's okay. The practice itself is the path. How can you integrate these tools? Start small. Choose one tool that resonates most strongly with you right now. Focus on applying just that one technique consciously throughout your day or week. Journal. Dedicate a few minutes each day to reflect. Use prompts. What was outside my control today? How did I react? Can I find something to embrace in today's challenges? Amor, Fati. What potential difficulty can I mentally rehearse coping with? Premeditatio. Can I describe an anxious moment objectively? Pause and identify. When you feel anxiety rising, create a moment of space. Pause. Breathe. Try to name the Stoic tool that might be most helpful in that specific situation, then consciously apply it. Be persistent. Some days will be easier than others. The key is consistent effort over time. Every attempt to apply these principles strengthens your inner citadel. The aim isn't a life completely devoid of anxiety or difficulty. That's an unrealistic, perhaps even undesirable goal. Challenges forge character. Difficulty reveals strength. The Stoic aim is more profound, to cultivate an inner core of resilience, reason, and tranquility that remains steadfast regardless of external circumstances. To change your relationship with anxiety, transforming it from a debilitating master into a manageable signal, reminding you where to apply your Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire rife with challenges far exceeding what most of us will ever face, found his strength not in external power, but in the internal discipline of these philosophical tools. He proved that peace is an inside job. Before we conclude our journey into Stoic wisdom for today, I want to thank you for investing your time in exploring these powerful ideas. If these tools for managing anxiety and building resilience resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the Paths of Eternity YouTube channel. We regularly explore practical philosophy and psychology to help you live a more examined, meaningful, and tranquil life. And if you feel this video could benefit someone else navigating their own challenges, please share it. Spreading timeless wisdom helps us all grow stronger together. Remember the words of the emperor philosopher. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That power is within you now. The tools are in your hands. The path to inner peace begins not tomorrow, but in this moment, with your next conscious choice, your next intentional thought. Start today. Build your citadel. Please remember, while these Stoic tools can be incredibly helpful for managing everyday anxiety and building resilience, they are not a substitute for professional medical or psychological advice. If you are experiencing severe anxiety, depression, or distress that significantly impacts your daily life, please seek help from a qualified healthcare professional or mental health provider. They can offer diagnosis, treatment, and support tailored to your specific needs.